welcome to the June feature of the True Blue podcast. I'm Shelby Bumgarner, your host. This True Blue podcast is ran by Duke Athletics and Blue Devil Network to honor student athletes here at Duke and share what makes them human. Today I'm with a very special guest, Ben Miller, a fifth year on the men's baseball team.
Thank you so much for having me, Shelby.
It's an honor, Ben. When I first asked Ben to come on the podcast, he was like, yeah, but should I keep the mustache? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So how is the mustache treating you today? And also, what is the origin of this mustache?
Yeah, the mustache has been a pretty funny experience. I did something similar junior year at Penn, and I don't think got the full experience out of it. I think I had a little bit more in the tank. So I knew when I came here that I wanted to do it again and show the guys here what I'm capable of. And I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out.
I mean, it looks great. It's pretty voluptuous. I'm not going to lie. Is it like a good luck charm, you would say, or? At
this point, I'm definitely not going to shave it. I was gonna see if I went into a little slump at some point, but not yet. So I'm keeping it for now.
Hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it? What's your stash care routine?
Yes, I started growing it out in October after our first media day. I wanted to make sure that I had some pictures in
October
Duke uniform without a mustache on. So yeah, I started in October. Really, again, just wanted to see what I could do with it, how long it would get. I started trimming on the lip once it started getting in my food and started feeling it when I'm drinking out of a cup or something. So yeah, I just trimmed on the lip and let the sides grow out. Before the season, went and got some wax. I went to barber Stevie. He kind of showed me what to do. He said you had to find the right mix of hair gel and wax. So my mix is about 99%. Wax to 1% hair gel. So I really only do it before games, which probably isn't very practical. I should curl it up all the time so that it's not, it looks terrible when it's down and it's just in the way. So I probably should start curling it up, but I'm lazy, I guess. And I really only spend about 10 minutes on it before games. I kind of got it down pat now. So just, kind of put wax in there and curl it up and see what it'll turn into that day.
That's amazing. That's incredible. You're from Durham. You're a hometown hero. What does Durham mean to you?
Yeah, Durham's very special. We actually had a funny argument in the locker room last week about which region of the U.S. is the best. And so obviously I'm a big Southeast guy. I love having big cities, mountains, lakes, and the beach all in one state. I went to the same middle school and high school that my dad and my aunts went to. So that was always a dream of mine, was to play sports at Jordan, which is right down the street from here. So Durham's very special to me, and I'm very happy to be back.
What do you enjoy most about where you're from?
Yeah, it may even sound kind of cliche, but growing up, I always really appreciated the diversity that Durham provides. Being public school educated K through 12, I really think I got a good understanding of how the world works. And, a lot of the kids at Duke may not have that kind of understanding yet, so I really do encourage them to immerse themselves in the Durham community and see what it has to offer.
Okay, so your grandma went to nursing school here. You go to school here. Your mom works at Fuqua, and your sister is a junior in the physics department here at Duke. So, it's a family affair here at Duke. Why did you come back, and why is Duke so important to you?
Yeah, so I wanted to come to Duke out of high school, and unfortunately that didn't work out. So once COVID happened and I knew I would have to graduate transfer out of the Ivy League, I always knew Duke was the place that I would want to go. I already had a relationship with Coach Pollard from high school, and obviously with having some family ties here, it was a really easy decision. And, just Duke being in Durham, I really take pride in being a representative of Durham in the Duke community and a representative of Duke in the Durham community. So it's been really special.
No, it's literally in your backyard, and you're going to school with your mom, which is a weird experience, but that's so awesome that it's a family affair. That's really special. That's what Duke's all about. So basically, you also read at local Durham elementary schools, another way that you're giving back to the Duke community. What does that mean now that you're at Duke, giving back to local elementary schools that maybe even you went to?
Yeah, one of the things that I knew would be special about coming back is having the opportunity to do things like that. It was really set up by my third grade teacher, Miss Mann. We had a forest view day at the baseball game against Clemson on that Saturday, and then I was able to actually go into the school that Monday 2 days later and meet with all the kids that were just at the game. So it was really special to be somewhat of a role model for those kids when I know that I had people in my life like that when I was younger. So it's something that I really wanted to take advantage of coming back, and that's just one example.
Can you see yourself moving back to Durham after all this is over?
Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to end up. I really have no idea, but it definitely not counting that out.
Fair enough. So multiple accolades in the Ivy League, academically and athletically. You crushed it at UPenn. In the year 2023, you guys made a run in the playoffs. Tell me about that experience for you.
Yeah, I loved all my time at UPenn. I'm really happy with the way things worked out just in terms of my career. I wouldn't change any of it. But when I got there in the fall of 2019, we knew that we were going to have a really good team. And unfortunately, that got kind of messed up with COVID, both in 2020 and 2021. We didn't get to play for 2 years, which was tough. But we knew that we had a really good team the entire time I was there. Junior year, my first year, actually getting to play college baseball, we won the Ivy League in the regular season and just had one bad day in the tournament, so didn't get to bid to the NCAA tournament. And then kind of had a revenge season last year in 2023, and not only won the tournament for the first time in, I think, 25 years, but got to go to Auburn and make a run down there as well. So it was a lot of fun and really special.
That's really special. So you played at a high level Ivy League-wise, and now you're crushing it in the ACC. What's the difference between ACC and Ivy League play?
Yeah, just in terms of baseball, the pitching is definitely a lot better. But I mean, Duke has one of the best pitching staffs in the country, and I don't think there's much of a debate about that. So getting to face those guys all fall, and then having a really great hitting coach in Eric Tyler, who when we had a bunch of grad guys, so when he brought us all in, really let us do our own thing and trusted that, as veterans, we know what's best for us, and he's just there as a resource. So I think combining that with getting to face really elite pitching all fall has kind of led to a lot of the success I've had this spring.
Ben, being in the Ivy League, 2 years were altered by COVID. How did this affect you and your team's development during that time, and what type of things did you have to alter or overcome?
Sure. So I think with the first 2 years of college baseball being a lot different for me, not actually playing against other competition really, I think that just led to a lot of my development taking place in summer ball and scrimmages. So I was still able to play summer ball during those 2 years. One summer I spent down here in a pretty new and developmental league, and then I got to play for the Holly Springs Salamanders in 2021, which really was my first real college baseball experience. I think a lot of my development took place there rather than in real game settings at the Division I level. But really, I mean, I think that now when I look back on it, I think that was a good thing, because I was really, like, in my first year of college baseball as a junior, was really able to just hit the ground running and have a good year. I didn't have a year or two of a learning curve that I had to overcome. COVID was extremely unfortunate, and we would have loved to have kept all that talent in the Ivy League, but not being able to play in the Ivy League as a graduate student and being forced to grad transfer if you want to play out the rest of your eligibility, I think that it's been a great opportunity for us to see how talented the Ivy League actually is, and see all these guys and girls and female sports perform in conferences like the ACC. The talent at the top level is going to be a little bit better, and then in the talent just in general is going to be a little bit better. But I think that your average player on each team is going to be about the same. I think that the talent in the Ivy League was at a very high level when I was there. I mean, I played with a ton of guys that are now playing professionally, and a ton of guys that ended up playing at Power 5 schools as well. Some of the requirements, there are a lot more strict rules in the Ivy League just in terms of how often you can practice, and we always had to abide by those. So, I mean, it's definitely a little bit more demanding playing in the ACC just in terms of what you have to do all the time and what's expected of you. But really, I mean, I think a lot of the success that I've had here at Duke now is just kind of taking those years that I played in Ivy League and being able to build on them and just become the best version of myself.
Ben, right now you're hitting around 500, which is respectfully insane. How have you been able to see the ball well, and what's the differences that you've been making in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really make a lot of changes coming into my swing. I started swinging like a half-inch longer of a bat. Made a little tweak in my swing. But I think, baseball is a very volatile sport, and, kind of got off to a hot start and then was just waiting for a few rough weeks to come, and they just haven't yet. I think, usually in baseball, I talk about if you hit a hard line out, then you're going to get a cheap hit in your next at bat, and it'll even out at some point. And I feel like I've gotten a lot more lucky hits than I have unlucky outs. So still kind of waiting on that to taper off, but just trying to enjoy it while I can.
You recently hit a walk-off versus Miami to clinch the series. What was this experience like?
Yeah, it was really full circle and really special moment. Being able to come back home and represent Duke, something I always wanted to do, and then have a moment like that. And moments like that are really created by the opportunity. A lot of times in a game, you're not going to have the opportunity to hit a walk off. So when you do, obviously nervous. But again, I mean, just thinking, there's a probably 1 in 3 chance I get a hit here if I'm having a good day. And thankfully, that one got through.
Baseball is a sport of inches and a lot of pressure. How do you cope with this, and how do you learn with this along the journey?
Yeah, for me, I mean, if you ask any of the guys on the team, I really try not to put too much pressure on myself ever. I think I'm really good at putting things into perspective, and I never lose sight of it just being a game. Just trying to have fun, and this is my 5th year doing it, so I think I have a lot of experience in big moments. Coach Pollard talks a lot about being where your feet are and staying in the moment, focusing on the guys around you. So I think really, I mean, in a big spot, just kind of look to the guy your left and right and understand it's just a game. You're just having fun.
You're a big personality, super easygoing guy. How would you describe yourself as a player?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much just that. I think I try to be laid back, try to be the same guy every day, no matter what's going on. Probably to my own detriment, I love talking to the other team, talking to the other coaches, talking to the umpires. It's gotten me in trouble a few times, and hopefully Coach Pollard's not watching this, but it happened. It happened on opening weekend. They were trying to get my attention, and I was talking to the umpire. And I turned to Zach Morris, our second baseman, and said, "That's not the first or last time that's going to happen." So, I just try to keep it pretty laid back while I'm out there and just try to enjoy it.
I love stalking the social media page because you love to celebrate yourself and you love to celebrate your teammates. What's like your favorite celebration?
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know what the name is for it, but the Pointer Brothers started a trend on TikTok where you do a little.
I just saw that photo of you doing that and I lost it. Like with the stash, it's like a full effect.
Yeah, that's our double celebration.
Can you do it again?
Aiden Weaver definitely has the best one on the team. He kind of started that in the fall and we ran with it. So it's definitely my favorite, and it's really fun anytime that you get to do that on second base.
Going back to UPenn, like a very academically rigorous school, and now you're at Duke. What do your academics mean to you?
Yeah, it was always a focus of mine, and I'm really glad. I mean, my parents, it was something they always emphasized growing up, and I'm really thankful for that. Just having the opportunity in high school, trying to figure out where I wanted to go to college, and then having that opportunity to say my junior year, well, I might as well just try to go to an Ivy League school, and then obviously it worked out. So it's something that I've always done my best in, and in terms of Ivy League versus Duke, I mean, Duke's obviously up there as one of the best universities in the world as well, so hasn't been much of a change there. Both are very rigorous, but, again, just always placed a lot of emphasis on academics and just done my best.
I mean, you're a role model to many, and you are such a great person all around. Do you have anyone specifically that you look up to?
I've been thankful and fortunate to have a lot of great mentors in my life. All my high school coaches were really great to me. Great family back home. My grandfather came to every game that I ever had in any sport while I was still alive. So, in different areas of my life, I think I look up to different people. In terms of family, certainly my grandfather and the foundation that he laid for our family is something that I'll always admire and strive for.
What was your grandfather like?
He was great. He worked till the day he died. Him and my father worked at the same law firm, Haywood Denny Miller, in Durham. He represented our state in North Carolina Congress for 20 plus years, I think. So he's very passionate about the things that meant a lot to him, and a very hardworking man till the day he died.
What has been the most rewarding part of your Duke baseball experience?
Yeah, there's so many things. Certainly coming back home, representing Duke and representing Durham, I feel like that's kind of a 2-for-1. I've described it as kind of checking a box that I had erased. And that's an opportunity that COVID provided for me. Obviously, COVID was a very tough time for many, but, trying to take some positives away from it, certainly, having this kind of redemption tour and being able to come back home and represent Durham has been very special. And, something that I think has also been unique about it is getting to meet a group of 40 guys that I never would have met otherwise. I mean, college sports are so special. Spend so much time with such a large group and having 40 best friends. So not only getting that at Penn, but also coming to Duke and getting to experience that with these guys.
Describe the Duke baseball culture.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. What's a little bit unique here at Penn, we had 10 guys in each class, and here, by the time they get to seniors, most of them have been drafted already. So, we don't have a lot of upperclassmen on the team. It's very bottom heavy. So, we've got a ton of sophomores, a ton of freshmen. They all have very strong personalities, and it's funny, being in there and doing the math on, like, man, I was driving when this guy was in 5th or 6th grade. But, they certainly keep you young. You always understand what the TikTok trend is, and
you guys are like, okay, I'm not going to lie. Your team has been on my TikTok a couple times. What do we have to say about this?
That's all Chad Knight. I don't know when he decided to do that. And it's funny, talking about young guys, and he's a 5th year doing the TikToks. But, some of them have gone viral.
I did see a celebrity crush one. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, the celebrity crush one was the biggest one.
Yeah, that was pretty popular. We kind of talked about you loving to be in the box, hitting wise. You're playing third base for Duke right now. What do you love about third base, and what do you bring to the table?
Yeah, that was also kind of something that I had given up on when I got to Penn. I was there for about a week probably before my coach told me to get a first base mitt. So I figured that's kind of where I would play for the rest of my baseball career. And coming to Duke and them having the faith in me defensively, telling me that I could play third, I was definitely questioning that decision. But it's worked out. Definitely gaining a lot of confidence over there. I think I've only made one error on the season, which is certainly a surprise, but, trying to keep that at one for as long as I can. So, I think I always just try to make the routine play and not do anything crazy.
You make an error. How do you mentally get over that error and move on for the rest of the game?
We've got a saying on the team, floating rock. So, just kind of put it in perspective again, it's just a game, just having fun. Just kind of go, to yourself and move on. That's really all it is.
Absolutely. I love that. With ACCs and postseason coming up, how are we feeling? You guys are ranked pretty high right now. You guys have a super exciting future ahead. What do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think we're all really excited about where we are. Coming into the year, we knew we had a lot of older transfers like myself and then a lot of young talent. So just going to try to figure out how that would mesh together. And I think we're all really happy with the team that we've put together offensively, and we obviously have one of the best pitching staffs in the country. So anytime we got a guy on the mound that's rolling, we just want to provide some offensive backup for him, and I think that we've done a pretty good job of that so far.
No, absolutely. Hopefully you guys bring it home. I'm going to be rooting for you guys. Why do you love baseball in general?
I think it's more, honestly, I don't know if this is the right answer, but I played 3 sports in high school. I always loved playing sports and being athletic. I didn't know which one I was going to end up playing in college. I think just the way the recruiting process went for me, that became pretty apparent early on that it was going to be baseball. But, I would have loved to play football in college too, and I certainly miss football. I think baseball is just kind of the one that I ended up playing, and I love playing sports, love being athletic and competitive.
With this being your grad year, what does the future look like for you?
Yeah, so having lost 2021, I actually have a 6th year too, so I'm going to come back and get the Accelerated MBA next year.
No way. Mm-hmm. Back for more. That is so exciting. Forever. Ben, you had aspirations of going to Duke initially. That didn't necessarily pan out, so you went to Penn. Now you found your way back here. How did you find your way back here?
Yeah, Duke was definitely my dream school. It was the first school I ever talked to, I think, sophomore year. The recruiting coordinator at the time, Josh Jordan, lived in my neighborhood. So
there is so many familial ties with you. It's insane.
I know, it was funny. Came to a bunch of camps when I was younger, had a great relationship with Coach Pollard at the time. Former teammate of mine, high school teammate Will Hoyle, had come to play here. He was 2 years older than me. Great dude. So, I was very familiar with the program. And then, when it didn't work out, there was no animosity there. It just wasn't the right time. And, I've come to terms with that, and I think that they made a good decision for them. So going to Penn, I played with Peter Matt there, and he, once COVID happened, ended up grad transferring here. So, I was familiar not only with the program through his eyes, but also kind of what that process would look like. So, and really, I think I entered the portal at noon, August 1st, went to practice, and Coach Pollard had already texted me by the time I was out of practice.
Oh, my gosh.
Basically offered me that night. So it all happened very quickly. He said he'd been waiting waiting for me to enter the portal and had his eye on me over the last few years. So, I mean, it was very special. And again, just kind of picking up where we left off 4 or 5 years prior, and a great relationship, no animosity there from high school. So
You're quite the charismatic guy. What's your walk-up song?
my walk-up song is Hurricane by Bridget Mendler from TikTok.
Any like ties to that song or why you chose it?
I mean, I could make up a story about Good Luck Charlie or something from Disney Channel growing up, but not really. I just thought it was funny. I think I've always kind of had a funny walk-up song. I used to walk up to Camp Rock.
That's so valid of you.
I did Enchanted by Taylor Swift. Best
Good
of Both
one.
Worlds, Hannah Montana one year.
You keep it light.
Yeah, I always like to have a funny walk-up song. I think it's your chance to interact with the crowd as a player. So
Absolutely.
if you're just walking up to some country song, it's like, I'm going to take a shot at Alex Stone here. His walk-up song is horrible. It's just a classic country song. I drive a truck or something. Like all right, dude. But,
Hurricane, Bridget Mendler.
I like to take the opportunity to kind of interact with the crowd and show them a little bit of your personality.
Absolutely. Well, I think you did just that. Thank you so much for coming, Ben. You were a perfect 5th guest on the podcast. Good luck in postseason. Good luck in ACC play. I'm rooting for you. Duke's rooting for you. And Durham's rooting for you. You're quite the awesome role model and human being, and it was great getting to know you.
Thanks so much. Go Duke.